Yo, what's going on? It's that boy Fair. Welcome back to another video. Now, as you see by the title and the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about my boy Aizen here in this video, one of my favorite characters in all of anime. And we're basically going to be talking about what Aizen would have done had he not been sealed away by Kisei at the end of this series there. So basically, we're just going to get into what Aizen would have did, probably his motives, and just flat out what he would have done. I mean, it's as simple as that. But yeah, let's get right into this and not even waste too much time. Now, the first thing that, of course, as we all know, would have happened is once Aizen, if he doesn't get sealed away by Kisei Urahara, basically what's gonna happen is now that Aizen he gets hit with the final Geshiga Tensho, Ichigo is now on the ground. He's lost all his Soul Reaper powers. Aizen, as we've seen, while he was laying on the ground talking, well, actually standing up by this point, talking to Ichigo, his sword was beginning to break apart. And as he stated, the Hokyo has chosen that he does not no longer need a sword. So now Aizen is now basically turning into his Dangai form, which is when his sword basically fuses with his body. So now, once that happens, it's going to basically be the Aizen from the manga, just a tad bit weaker if you ask me. So now as long as you look at Aizen's body, you could be thrown under Kyoka Suigetsu. So now Aizen already is at a massive buff. But now also, on top of Aizen now fusing with it Kyoka Suigetsu, Aizen also is now evolving into another form, as you could say, because as we've seen, he was about to evolve into an even further form. But of course, Urahara stepped in and sealed him away before he can get to that state. But as we know, where the form would have stated is, as Aizen repeatedly stated, if someone is stronger than him, eventually he will become stronger than them, because the Hogyoku will continually evolve to what that person's power is and eventually surpass them. So basically, once Aizen is finished forming and he has this new form, he should be somewhere that is a little bit above, I guess you could say, Mugetsu Ichigo. So now this Aizen should be the strongest character in the series at this point in time, because it was stated that Mugetsu Ichigo was the strongest character and the strongest move we've seen in all of Bleach up to that point, not including the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. And so now that's not including maybe like somebody like Bankai, I mean, I guess you could say all the other captains. The only person that really is a big question here is Bankai Yamamoto. But even in that aspect, I mean, I'm not going to talk too much on it. I mean, that's up for whoever wants to. I don't really know right now if I could say that Aizen was stronger than Bankai Yamamoto. But I mean, at the end of the day, even if he wasn't as strong as him, he would eventually become stronger than him. So yeah, so at this point in time, Ichigo Mugetsu is the strongest in the series at this point in time. And now Aizen has just been defeated by him, but he wasn't fully defeated. So now he's getting back up. He's fusing with Kyoka Suigetsu. He's gaining a new form. And now he should now be the strongest character in the series. So as we all know, Aizen's main goal was to basically take over, kill the Soul King and take over, because Aizen is the type of character that does not like to work under anyone. He likes to be at the top, and if he's not at the top, he's not satisfied. That's why he went on his whole thing against the Soul Society. He did not like being a captain under Yamamoto, but of course he had more motives than just that. That's just one of the main motives, and that's also a reason why he didn't join Yhwach when Yhwach was trying to recruit Aizen, let alone when he also tried to when he basically tried to stop Yhwach. When he found out Yhwach was also trying to take over and become the king, Aizen, in a normal circumstances, he probably wouldn't have helped the Soul Society. But once he found out that Aizen, once again, does not like to work under anyone, so he probably would not have let Yhwach just got his way, which is why he stepped in and decided to help and fight. So now in this situation, Aizen is basically on his way to make the key to get to the Soul Palace. So the first thing Aizen's gonna, of course, run into is, of course, number one, just getting there, which he was already close enough to getting the key to get there. So it shouldn't be that big of an issue for him. He should still be able to get there relatively easy. The only thing is now that Aizen has no more subordinates with him, all the Espadas are for the most part dead, and the ones that aren't dead are nowhere near him. Not Grimjow, I'm sorry. Gin and Tosin are now both dead because of, him, which he has killed them both. And now, so Aizen is soloing this. So now Aizen is on his way to the Soul Palace, and by the time he gets there, the Zero Division may or may not know he's there. So being the Zero Division being the type of guys they are, they may know. I'm honestly not 100% sure, but I mean, for the sake of it, even if they don't know, because this is going to be something that's going to probably catch them off guard and not going to have their utmost attention, because I mean, even it was stated in the manga when Aizen was going crazy, the Zero Division did not come down to help. So that makes it seem like they might have knew what was going on down there. They just didn't feel the need to come down there and help, or they just didn't know all around. I would have to go back in the manga and honestly figure out what was the correct reason, because it was one of those two. And so now in this situation, Aizen's at the Soul Palace. The Zero Division are in their little individual islands or floating with things, I guess, whatever you want to call them. I guess you could just say floating islands, whatever you want to call them, like I said. So now, basically, Aizen at this point in time is probably stronger than all of the Zero Division, and the only one that's going to give him real problems is Ichibe. Now, the thing about it is Tenjiro, which is the first one we ran into, the one that has the bath healing and all that. He's strong along with all the other Zero Division members, as in Kiro, the woman who makes the food and all that, Oetsu, the one who created Zanpakutos, and then Shinjimaru, the one who can manipulate cloth and all of that. And then of course we also have Ichibe. Those are all the Zero Division's real names. So, everyone except for Ichibe is not weak in the slightest, because honestly, Oetsu himself was actually capable of soloing basically all the Stern Ritters except for Askin. And the only reason he couldn't technically kill Askin like he did the rest is, number one, his to go back just a little bit, he was able to really do this because he has the sharpest Zanpakuto. Since he is the creator of them, he is to be, relatively strong. And so with all the Stern Ritters being caught off guard, and with his quickness, he was able to quickly slice all their necks. And the only one who survived was Askin, because Askin, as we later learn on, manipulates blood in a very weird way. And so that kind of played to, stop Oetsu's plans in the middle of it. And it ultimately led to him being distracted with Askin so long that Yhwach was able to steal the Quincy's powers from down below and bring them up and give them to the Stern Ritters, who are now up here with him, being Lily Barrow, Gerard, and all the other ones. So now that all these are now resurrected, they're back up and they're good to go. Now we have all the Stern Ritters that have defeated the Zero Division. So in this point in time, of course, we'll have no Yhwach, no Stern Ritters. This is just the Zero Division. So the Zero Division, depending on who sees Aizen first, depends on how it gets dealt with. Because if anyone other than either Oetsu or Ichibe sees him first, they're gonna get dealt with pretty easily. Because the way that Tenjiro died, he was just flat out beating the fight. Same with Kiro. Oetsu was shot through the chest by Lily Barrow. Shinjimaru was also shot through the head, I believe, by Lily Barrow. And then Ichibe he technically actually never did die. He just was borderline. Like, he had such little power when Ichigo called out his name and was able to steal a little bit of Ichigo's Ryatsu and restructure his body. He was so weak that he couldn't even stand up to someone that was actually way weaker than him at this point in time. So in a situation like this, if anyone, like I said, but Ichibe or Ryatsu runs into Aizen, they're gonna die relatively easily. Mainly because now that Aizen you no longer have to look at his Zanpakuto to get put under Kyoku Suigetsu. You now just have to look at him. Now Aizen is going along his way. He is, let's say, the three ones that I didn't name off, um, they see Aizen first, being Senjimaru, Hiro, and Tenjiro. So they all probably are gonna die because none of them can really stand up to Aizen at this point in time, because Aizen is now stronger than basically the entire Soul Society, which the Zero Division is also the amount of power that is made up in the entire Gote 13. So basically, you compare these 5 people to the entire Gote 13, and honestly, you could give Zero Division the edge and say they are probably a tad bit stronger. So then in this situation, Aizen is now, like I said, stronger than the entire Gote 13. And so by this point in time, relatively, you could say that he's going to be stronger than most of the Zero Division. The only one that has a chance is, like I said, Ichibei, because Ichibei, with his whole rewriting names and all this, could definitely play into his hands. But the only problem is, if Ichibei looks at Aizen without knowing the true extent of his powers and knowing that he's fused with his sword, then Ichibei's gonna, he's gonna be fighting out Aizen. He's gonna throw him into hypnosis. So now Ichibei will think he writes down, he might release his Shikai, Ichimonji, and then he might think that he's putting Aizen's name down, and then next thing you know, he'll probably accidentally put his down because he's thrown under hypnosis. And so then, Ichibei can get dealt with relatively, it's not going to be as easy as the rest, but he probably will get dealt with ultimately as well, and his downfall will be the same as the rest, being Aizen's broken ability of Kyoko Suigetsu. So now, by this point, Aizen has gone up to the Soul Palace. He has taken out all the Zero Division. Now his end all goal is to now go kill the Soul King, which he will easily do, because the Soul King, as we all know, it only took one swing from Ichigo to, kill the Soul King, who is, I honestly don't know. The Soul King is a very weird one. He's kind of like sealed up in this, I don't really know what you want to call it. It looks like some type of glass or something very weird that he's sealed up in, or maybe that's just how he normally is. I don't really know. They didn't really go into a lot of detail on the Soul King, which I wish they would have. And so basically, yeah, Aizen goes in there. He pretty much slices up him, and now Aizen has the entire Soul Society in his hands. He has conquered the Soul Society. He has conquered the Soul Palace. The entire Soul world is now Aizen's, and that's basically what I feel what would have happened had Urahara not sealed Aizen away. So, with all that being said, that's gonna wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you feel any other way about this video, or you have any type of recommendations like these as well, please leave them down below in the comment section. I'll always get to them and reply to you guys. So with all that out the way, I'll see you guys in the next one.